Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story that's going to completely redefine how we look at bravery and taking action. The title really says it all. True heroes don't wear capes, the Atlanta shelter fire. Let's get right into it. Okay, so picture this. It's an absolutely ordinary, quiet nighttime street in Atlanta. It's dark, street lamps are buzzing, just a totally normal evening. But suddenly, that calm is completely shattered. Massive, aggressive flames start violently rising from a local animal shelter. It's the kind of intense, towering fire that literally stops you in your tracks. So it brings up a really critical question, right? What would you do if a building was burning but no firefighters had arrived yet? It's incredibly easy for us to sit back and assume we'd be the hero, but I want you to genuinely put yourself in this terrifying scenario. You're standing on the sidewalk, the air is suddenly choking with thick black smoke, and honestly, way worse than the smoke is the sound. Inside that building, animals are trapped. Cats are huddled together in pure terror, dogs are frantically scratching at their kennel doors. They are entirely dependent on human help. And the pros, the ones with the gear and the training, aren't there yet. The animals are screaming. What is your very next move? Well, meet Keith Walker. At that exact moment, Keith was simply walking down the street to pick up his pit bull Bravo. Up until then, he was having a totally calm night, just a regular guy expecting a normal, happy reunion with his dog who was waiting nearby. There was no warning, no cinematic buildup in his evening, but then, in an instant, everything shifts. He looks up, and his quiet night is completely erased by this wall of black smoke pouring into the sky. Suddenly, the calm is replaced by screaming neighbors, absolute panic, and that frantic, heartbreaking barking from inside the shelter. Now here is where we see human nature split in two. On one side, the crowd gathered outside. They watched helplessly, waiting for professionals, and nobody moved. And honestly, that is a completely understandable human reaction. A towering inferno is terrifying, and most people just wait for the sirens. But on the other side, Keith. He bypassed literally every single instinct of self-preservation. He made a split-second decision. He didn't freeze up. He didn't wait around for the fire trucks. In this incredible, almost slow-motion moment of pure bravery, Keith charged straight through the front door of that shelter. He ran directly into the glowing flames. And listen, this wasn't just some quick, adrenaline-fueled dash in and out. Not at all. It was a relentless, chaotic, physical ordeal. First trip in, he carries out a small dog. But instead of staying outside in the fresh air to catch his breath, he turns around and goes right back into the blinding smoke. Trip 2, he emerges carrying 2 cats. And then he goes back again. And again. I mean, just picture this. The smoke is blinding, the fire is glowing all around him, and every single time he goes back in, it's infinitely more dangerous. The smoke is getting thicker by the second, yet he just keeps plunging back in, absolutely determined to get every single frightened animal out of there. It is a staggering display of endurance. So what was the result of all that relentless effort? 10 cats, 6 dogs. Every single one survived. He successfully navigated the blinding smoke and the terrified, panicking animals to extract all of them. And you want to know the most unbelievable part of this entire timeline? He managed to get all 10 cats and all 6 dogs completely safe outside while volunteers rushed over to hug and comfort them, all before the firefighters even arrived on the scene. Think about that. This massive rescue operation was pulled off by one guy acting entirely on his own initiative. 16. I really want to pause here and just let the sheer, tangible weight of that number sink in. 16. This isn't just some statistic on a page. These are 16 living, breathing lives. 16 animals that were trapped behind locked doors, breathing in toxic smoke. 16 lives that absolutely would have been lost to the fire if that crowd had just kept waiting for the professionals. Instead, all 16 are sitting safely on the grass. It is a profoundly heavy number that shows you the absolute difference one person can make when they decide to step up. But here is the detail that it completely stopped me in my tracks. Keith himself, he was homeless. No dramatic fanfare, no camera crews waiting for him, just Keith, quietly sitting on the sidewalk with his dog Bravo, trying to catch his breath after running into an actual inferno. It's an incredibly powerful reality check, isn't it? This hero who risked his own life to save 16 animals from losing their home and their lives didn't even have a roof over his own head. He had so little in terms of material wealth, yet he gave absolutely everything he had in that moment to save those who were helpless. Now, you'll be glad to know the story doesn't just end on that quiet sidewalk. The global